Good evening, Joppatowne region. We're really excited to be here for our first ever Joppatowne Principals Forum. Our goal tonight was simply to, the theme is basically to be, how do we become next grade ready? And the opportunities and the options and the optimism that's in the Joppatowne area. We're going to share about and have a conversation about the program offerings up at Joppatowne High School and how schools, families, and students can prepare early and to be able to take advantage of those opportunities when they get to high school. We're going to share some information about the value of attendance and communication and academics that begins in the elementary schools all the way through middle school and on into high school. So I'm Marc Hamilton. I'm the principal of Riverside Elementary School. To my right is
Cynthia Womack, the principal of Edgewood Elementary School, proud principal of Edgewood Elementary School.
I am Jessica Hichkad, the principal of Joppatowne Elementary School.
Good evening, I'm Becky Reese, the principal at Magnolia Elementary School.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Laurie Namey, the proud principal of Magnolia Middle School.
Good evening, I am Melissa Williams, the still relatively new but very proud principal at Joppatowne High School.
and I'd like to thank Adam Schellenbarger for hosting us tonight at Joppatowne Christian Church, which is here, and then it's also online virtually as well, and we're hopeful that our next ones will be done in the same manner.
There are people 8 people watching right now.
8
right.
more
Yay!
people. Hello.
Welcome.
All right, so we're going to start first with the Joppatowne High School, so you can kind of begin with the end in mind. And we're going to hear about some of the programs that are there that our kids can take advantage of who live in this area.
Thank you, Mark, and again, thank you, Adam, for hosting us this evening. So many wonderful things going on at Joppatowne High School, and I just wanted to take a moment to highlight some of them, make sure that everyone's aware of all the great things that are going on. So just a few, I wanted to highlight some of the larger programs and then also highlight some of the additional opportunities. So offered at Joppatowne High School, we actually house both the P-TECH and the Homeland Security programs currently. P-TECH stands for Pathways in Technology. It is an early college high school program. So P-TECH offers several different pathways for students. 4-year, 5-year, and 6-year pathways. So students in the P-TECH program can complete that with full college credit in 4, 5, or 6 years, depending on which pathway they choose. Those are fully funded college credits. So paid for by the school system, students graduate high school with those college credits. That's the P-TECH program. Also offered currently is the Homeland Security program. That's a little bit different. That's a signature program that students decide to join in their 10th grade year. Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. Again, different pathways in that, but offered exclusively to students of Joppatowne High School. We're also proud that we are the first school in Harford County who has been approved for a JROTC, an Army JROTC program. We will be kicking that off next year with our first cohort of 50 students. Again, that is a magnet program, so that will draw students from across the county through a lottery system, not unlike P-TECH, kicking off next year, and we hope within the next 4 years to grow that program into all 4 cohorts, so adding 50 students to that program each year. So those are just 3 of the programs I wanted to highlight. I also added up there the Apprenticeship Maryland program. One thing that I know that people don't always know is that there are paid apprenticeship opportunities for students once they reach their junior year. There's an application process, but the variety of fields really will appeal to many, many students. So as they are thinking about their high school year, one of the things that they can really be thinking about is apprenticeship, something that I'm interested in. So everything from dual enrollment through the P-TECH program or through other dual enrollment opportunities in high school that allow students to graduate with fully paid college credits, to the Homeland Security signature program, to JROTC to paid apprenticeships are all available for students. And that's in addition to all the opportunities within the school system, sports. We have an in-house TV studio that produces every Friday a segment called Wired that shares news from across the school, totally student produced under the leadership of our drama and journalism teachers. Wired write-ups that come out each week, once again through our journalism program. I've mentioned the sports. We have a very active Student Government Association who put on a Culture Day this year and a Wellness Day this year, Junior Honor Society, drama and music programs, so lots of opportunities for students. One thing to really be thinking about is these opportunities really blossom and open up as students are attending school regularly. So many of the programs, many of the activities have requirements that are based in eligibility, based in grade point averages, and based in attendance. So 90% attendance is really crucial to being able to meet a lot of the eligibility requirements, being able to fully participate in all of the opportunities that schools offer. So I know you're going to hear a lot more about grades and attendance, but I would really emphasize attendance in being able to be fully able to access and be engaged in these great opportunities that exist.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. That's definitely something that we wanted to highlight for everybody today, is just what can be achieved and attained by the kids that grow up in this area. But it can't just start when you're about to go to high school. There's a lot that goes into really preparing kids for what's going to be demanded of them at the secondary level. Ms. Namey, our middle school principal, let's hear about the middle school and what you guys are working on and how you're helping get the kids ready for high school.
Yes, and thank you, Melissa. I'm so glad you were able to highlight some of the amazing programs at Joppatowne. Our students are so fortunate to live and grow in this area, and we're just a very small part of it. I say we're the small part of it because we're the shortest duration, and there's probably people in the audience right now saying, thank goodness, because middle school is a very exciting and turbulent 3 years of our child's lives. But for me, personally, I'm a little biased. I think it's the most amazing 3 years of our students' development. So I want to start there. Middle school is a challenging 3 years. It's challenging for everyone, all of us. We could probably tell some stories about what we learned to do and learn not to do during our middle school experience. It's because developmentally where our students are right now is they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure out who they are, what they believe in, what they stand for, and where they're going in the future. And because of that, trying to figure it out, they sometimes make some mistakes. Sometimes they get a little bit overly worried or scared about what's next. But they also, as exciting as it might be, they really get excited and enthusiastic and optimistic about what is offered and what is on the horizon for them. And so that's our job at the middle school, is to really tap into those feelings of positivity and optimism and hope, and really making sure that we're giving them the tools to access whatever is in their future. And we believe that anything is possible. Our mission at Magnolia Middle School is to love, learn, and lead. We put love first intentionally. Our priority at our school is to make sure that students feel loved. They also love themselves and are proud of themselves and their family and their community. But most importantly, we want them to have that sense of belonging, that feel like there is so much offered in the future for them. And we do that through making sure that they're cared for while they're in our walls. Obviously, learning is a critical part. And then, of course, we want to build leaders. So speaking of building leaders, we have plenty of opportunities for learning and leading at our school. All of our students have the same opportunities that they do in all of our middle schools in Harford County. I could say that confidently now because we were just approved to offer full credit Spanish 1 for our 8th grade students next school year. We're so excited for that opportunity because that's going to give our students a jump start over at Joppatowne High School. They'll have 1 extra credit already taken care of as 8th graders. And families, if you're listening, of my 7th grade students, you heard about this opportunity last week, and then I sent another letter home today. So please, if you're listening, please opt in if you're interested in having students have that opportunity. Right now, it'll be optional for our incoming 8th graders, but we're hoping to expand it so that all students have that access moving into the years to come. We also have opportunities for students to receive Algebra 1 and Geometry credit. And I am proud to say, since 2019, we have doubled each and every year the amount of students that are leaving our school with mathematics high school credit. So before Melissa, Ms. Ziegler called me one day and said, you know, Laurie, you're really messing with my master's schedule because we now have to offer a little bit more advanced classes. And I think that's a really great problem to have. We're very proud of our scholars at Magnolia Middle School. They're rocking it out, they're taking the challenge, and it's really about giving the students the opportunities that they didn't even know that they had and maybe didn't even believe that they were capable of doing. So we are finding those students and making sure that we're elevating their performance. Along with our regular science, social studies, math, and language arts programming, we also have the unified arts classes. So they experience music and art, Project Lead the Way, which is similar to like a pre-engineering coursework, and World Language Exploratory, beyond just the Spanish 1 course offering. We are proud to have 19 clubs and organizations, and I have to be honest, our staff is incredible, and the majority of those 19 clubs and organizations are sponsored by teachers without any additional pay, just volunteering. We do have county-sponsored clubs and activities, but for example, we've had a dance team for the first time this school year, completely led by 3 teacher volunteers, and we had 60 students participate, and we had our first dance recital this school year. So we have lots of opportunities for our students to shine in multiple ways beyond the academics. What I also want to talk about, again, I started our conversation with how interesting these 3 years for students can be. So families, if you're listening tonight, and if you have an incoming 6th grader, you should have received save the date cards for our Jumpstart orientation programs. But also over the summer, besides attending that event, we would love for you to work with your child on organization, on also just some self-discovery work, thinking about what interests they have, what their talents are. If you Google, student self-inventory for talents or careers, have them start really thinking about where they want to hone their skills. The other thing I would love for you to think about is providing students with experiences this summer. That's what school's all about in middle school. We want students to experience things they've never experienced before, because students are not necessarily in middle school, are not necessarily going to learn and remember all of the content. What they will remember is how they felt, because again, emotion leads in these 3 years, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. They live and breathe by their emotions. So they're going to remember their experiences, but they're also going to remember the skills. So a lot of the instruction that we prioritize at our school is around skill building instead of content building, because we want them to be able to access learning no matter where they are. So as many experiences you can build for students over the summer, that would be absolutely amazing. And this is the same for our 7th and 8th grade students as well. The last thing I want to talk about, and actually shout out my elementary school colleagues, over the past few years, we have done a full articulation for our transitioning 5th to 6th grade students. And what that means is myself and one of my assistant principals, school counselor, and several of my teachers visit all of the elementary schools each year, and we talk about every single one of our incoming students. And we just don't talk about their grades or, if they've made some behavior mistakes. We talk about who they are as people and who they are as learners and what we could do to prepare for them as teachers. And we have seen a big difference over the years in our preparation for serving our students as they walk into the middle school. We do that in our house in our middle school as well. Our 7th grade teachers communicate with our 8th grade teachers and so forth. And I'm just very thankful that the elementary schools are also willing to meet with us so we could plan accordingly for our students, because really the more that we know, the better that we can serve our students. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why we've had such success in bolstering the amount of students that are able to have a math credit, for example, leaving the middle school. It's because we've identified the students that might not have shown on their test scores that they could be advanced in mathematics, but the teachers know them best, and the teachers could identify the potential that they have. And all our job to do is in the middle school level is, when we have that potential, once those teachers notice their potential, is also to grow that potential. And so we had a 99% success rate since we have started targeting specific students that might not have been qualified. All of the students, minus a few, have made it to the next grade level with preparation and readiness. And I think that's the beauty of our relationship. And so what I'll say to the community is continue to support your schools. And that doesn't mean you have to just show up at events. It's okay not to, but just continue to support your schools by supporting your child at home, asking questions, making sure you're encouraging them to attend school, making sure that if you have questions or want different opportunities, reach out to us. And we're going to continue to do our part to make sure that we're preparing our students for the future. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Namey. The elementary schools will also share some key insights, challenges that we're facing right now with our kids that are impediments to these kids being next grade ready once they get to middle school and high school. I think we'll start with Cynthia, would you like to go and to share a little bit about the additional supports that our schools have over in this area and how we leverage those for our kids and our families?
So again, I'm Cynthia Womack from Edgewood Elementary School. I'm proud of some of the things that we can offer our families and our community, because we have a population that we are continuously trying to grow and develop and improve upon. So as a school, we offer some programs to support our students. We do struggle with attendance. The State Department of Education has required all schools to monitor attendance, and it's required that students attend school so much out of the year. So it's something that we've struggled with as a school, and we've developed a program to kind of combat that issue that we have, and it's our HERO program, Here, Every Day, Ready, and On Time. So students who enter our building that we're very concerned about attendance, they will come in, check in with a particular staff member, and earn rewards towards a prize or an incentive to motivate them to come to school every day, and it's been very successful. So we're proud of that program, and we'll continue to grow and develop that program. We also offer mentoring programs. We feel it's very important to connect with our kids in school, but also outside of school. So some of our students who struggle academically or struggle developing relationship with their peers, or just have some behavioral concerns that we have about them, we want to make sure that they extend their day in school, extend their day so they're in school more, as opposed to outside of school or non-structured activities outside of school. So we have a boys mentoring program and a girls mentoring program. And the boys mentoring program, I was able to develop a relationship with one of the local ministers who came into my school, a group of men and himself. We've identified boys that may not have male role models or good male role models for them. And he works with them playing chess and civics. He teaches them civics so they can develop an interest and a particular affinity towards their community to hopefully grow some leaders in our community later on. The end of the mentoring program culminated with a trip to Washington, D.C., so they took a nice coach ride to the African American Museum to also instill a sense of pride in them, and hopefully they'll want to come back and bring some of the things they learned to their own community and to their peers. We also have a girls mentoring program that some of my other colleagues might have as well. Formerly known as Treasured Jewels, but the girls still meet together once a week to come together and form ideal relationships, have a mentor model that they can mimic and strive to be like, that works with them once a week. They also ended their year with a trip to the African American Museum. And then we're considered a community school, so we have a community specialist that we hired just for that particular purpose. She provides resources to our families in the school. She offers wraparound services, so we try to identify what the needs of the families and parents and the people in our community and try to meet those needs through that particular program. We have been allotted certain money from the state to bring in those program and resources for our families. She has a food pantry. She has a care closet, which she stores toiletries, clothes, other things that households may need and families may need. We want to make sure our children come to school ready and prepared to learn. So we want to make sure some of the things that they may not have or need to be successful in school, those needs are met. We also have family engagement events. So when we talk about preparing our students for the summer, the biggest thing you can do for our elementary students is just work on their basic facts, their math basic facts, multiplication, subtraction, addition, and subtraction, addition, I said all four. And read books, just read, develop a love of reading, expose them to experiences, one of my colleagues says, that's so important. Some of our students never left their community, so we want to have, expose them to more experiences that are, some things don't always cost money, a lot of things are free, so even just taking them to the library is important. So basic facts, readings, and journal writing. So if you take them somewhere and provide those experiences, buy them a fancy journal with a little lock. Kids love that. For some reason, that little lock and those fancy colors motivates them to write more. And so write about their experiences they had. And just anything that's on their mind or hearts that they want to share and write into a book. That will help them grow as a writer as well as reading about what they're writing about and working on their basic facts. The summer prep. So one of the community events that our community specialist has organized is tomorrow night. We're having a summer kickoff event. So a lot of our families, I hope, are prepared to come out tomorrow night and get a lot of resources from the school to help parents prepare for the summer. We'll feed them. We'll give them information about how they can prepare their children for the summer experience and some ideas to do with them and their students over their kids over the summer. And then how. And attendance, I spoke to attendance, but I think that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Womack.
We can say ditto.
I do want to take a moment, though, to share this. A lot of what she just described right now does not come from your Harford County dollars.
Right.
Those come from the state and the federal government. So a lot of the specialized programs that we're offering over here in this neck of the woods is in addition to funding that the Harford County system has provided us, because we really don't get funded very much differently than any other school by Harford County funds. These other funds enhance the offerings and the services that we could provide those families. But we've got to talk about attendance for a second.
Yes. Mark,
before we share a couple other things, yeah.
If I could just jump in with that as well. A lot of the things we're able to offer also come from community partners who partner with us. So APG often partners with us on things, HCC, and then local partners as well who provide mentoring. So we couldn't do a lot of what we do without our community partners as well. So
and we could close up at the end with pictures from our last community fair of all of those people that come out and help at all of these events, and we share them all.
Yeah,
you know, so they had to split up their time amongst all of us. So we've partnered with Joppatowne Elementary School so that at least don't have to do two more events.
Exactly.
But Becky, I just want to ask you, how many pages was your chronically absent list today?
It wasn't that long, actually, because we've been working really hard on our attendance. So I'm Becky Reese. I'm the principal at Magnolia Elementary School. It's my first year at Magnolia Elementary, and I am just thrilled. I can't believe that the school year is coming to an end. It's just been a magical year. But when I came in, one of the biggest challenges I had was our attendance. Last year, I am sad to say that Magnolia Elementary had over 50% of their students who are considered chronically absent. Chronically absent in the state of, for the state of Maryland is that you miss 10% or more of the school year. And many of the children that fell in that 50% missed 30, 40, 50 days of school. And they need to come to school so we can do our part. And that was a big challenge, and we have tackled that this year. All of us have, as Cynthia mentioned. You know, it is something we've all had to tackle. 10% is not that many days. It's hard.
17 today.
Yes, and the state considers lawful and unlawful absences as chronic. So lawful means my son or daughter had a fever, I kept them home because that's what you have to do. And then you wrote us a note. Still counts as one of those attendance days. So it's important that we do come to school when we're feeling just a little bit like, I don't feel like going to school today. Go to school. So it's really important that we come to school all the time unless we're sick. We understand that kids get sick. And what I've been really working with my community on is just the communication. Let us know what's happening, because if you need help with, if you need some resources, if you need us to get the nurse practitioner, if you need some transportation, anything, what is going on so we can help. Talk to our school nurses who are fantastic and work so closely with our families so we can get kiddos back in school. From an elementary perspective, the little ones get sick a lot, especially because I have kids in my pre-K, I'm sure my colleagues do as well. This is their first exposure to be around a lot of people because they were COVID babies and they've been home a lot. So now they're around a lot of other kids. Kids are germy, they touch everything, and then they touch you. And so it's really important, you know, so we have to build those immunities up, and we understand that. But we start at the elementary school of really instilling that importance of the attendance, because we know that if they start bad habits now, it's going to continue when they go to middle and when they go to high school, and then the impact it has as they get older. We already start conversations with children who we're starting to see interest. They might have a certain interest. You know, you have to have good attendance if you want to do that when you get to high school. I can't tell you how many conversations I have with you know, especially the kids who want to play sports. You got to have good attendance if you want to do that when you get to high school. So we want to instill that in them, and we're excited that our attendance has improved. It's not exactly where we want it, but it's going in the right direction. And the key to that is just that communication with the schools so that we can make sure that we're providing our help with the families, because it is hard. And when one kid gets sick, then, you know, the other kids. You know, when I was a little girl and chickenpox were still a thing, my mom made us all play together so we don't get it at the same time. So all four of us, she was like, everybody gets sick at the same time, and we get that. So we just want to make sure that families are communicating, but attendance is so crucial, and we can all tell you stories of children who have started off with poor attendance at a very young age and then continued just all the way through, and it's hard for them to recover.
When I correlate my chronic absent list with the kids on my student services team, the kids being brought up for IEPs, or the kids that are in interventions for multiple years, there is a very high correlation. It makes one thing, when you come out of the gate, you're going to catch all the illnesses and sicknesses, but that declines, you know, because you build up your immunity. So most often, kids on the chronic list at the beginning of the year fall off of it, because it's produced as the year goes on. So by today, it's 17 days. Well, if I miss 7 out of the gate, that's no big deal, because you're off my list by now.
Right.
But right now, it is just stacked and packed, and we throw everything in the kitchen sink at trying to help families get their kids here, motivate them to be here. And I truly believe that it's an uphill battle right now for a wide variety of reasons, but it is essential, because you know what does not correlate with that chronically absent list is the number of kids I'm recommending for pre-algebra at the middle school. So if they want to truly be able to attain and go to any single program in this county, they're going to have to be strong mathematicians, and that requires attendance.
And can I just say, I interpret for families, 20 days is a month of school.
Yes.
That's a whole month of school.
It's a long time.
One particular case I had to discuss with a family member a few years back, like 2 or 3 years back. I accumulated all the days that child had been absent from kindergarten to 5th grade, and she missed a whole year. All those, every year, it added up and cumulatively made 1 whole year that she missed of school. When I shared that data with the mother, her jaw dropped. So think about it cumulatively, how this impacts students. Get them here, we will teach them, we will take them wherever they are and make sure they're successful, but we need them in front of us.
And I think one thing we're trying to get out to our whole community is that school is starting a whole week earlier this year.
Yes.
So we are advertising. We have, I don't know how many years now we've started after Labor Day, and we are back to the week before. So we're a little nervous that people aren't gonna, they're gonna think, oh, we start after Labor Day. We have signs everywhere. I was teasing my community school specialist because I said she's like Target, who already has new school supplies out. We haven't even finished this school year because she has signs everywhere about when the first day of school is. So we start that last week in August. And right away, if you miss that week, you're on our list of chronically absent. So we want to make sure that our communities know that we're starting earlier than ever. So.
There are a couple of special programs too for elementary schools. Ms. Hichkad, she's the principal at Joppatowne Elementary School. She's got one of them at her place.
Yeah, so at Joppatowne Elementary School, we house one of the Hartford County Public Schools regional special education programs, the Classroom Support Program, or CSP. And this is a special education program that provides specialized instruction for students in social, emotional, and behavioral learning. And they are a tremendous part of our school community, and they really, just add a lot of value to what we do every day at Joppatowne. We focus on positively shaping student behavior every day with all of our students at Joppatowne. Our vision statement is fostering a community of belonging and achievement through safety, respect, and responsibility. So those 3 core values really guide all that we do at school, and we try to build that foundation with students throughout their entire school day and their school year.
The work that we're doing with kids is not just academic, because a lot of our kids have not had opportunities to take turns with one another.
Right.
When we're talking about social and emotional learning, there's a lot of trauma, problems that they face in the household that they bring to school that no one really understands, including them. So we learn how to learn with one another. And that's a significant aspect of what it is that we do, because we, as public schools, we take everybody. There's no one that we turn away. And therefore, we do design programs to integrate and provide something special for all of them. Next year at my school, Riverside, we'll be starting off another Strive program. I don't know if many of you probably have heard that. That's a program that is spread to multiple schools over the past couple of years in Hartford County as the incidents of autism are on the rise. These are kids that are going to need help learning how to communicate with one another in a very small group setting with lots of adult support. And that's all being provided in a new place at Riverside at my school next year. I hope that everybody's getting a sense of feeling that, the teachers and parents, we share the similar goals. We all want safe schools. We want our kids to reach their full potential. We want to foster not only academics, but their personal growth. And in short, we all want what's best for kids. And unfortunately, perhaps more often than not, there's people that are trying to drive a wedge in between, or saying that our interests are at odds with one another. And I hope that you're getting a sense or a feeling that is definitely not the case. We are only better together, and we cannot succeed without our community support. And I truly believe, I think our parents would really struggle succeeding as well, and our communities would struggle succeeding as well without the efforts of all of the staff and the teachers and the volunteers that work in your public schools. So we really want to cast that whole parents versus educators as a myth, because it's truly not the case. And whenever we've had conflict at our schools, it's always a small minority, a few parents, a few people perhaps, but really overwhelmingly, our communities are behind what it is that we're doing. Absolutely. Because they see the 100%. Joy on their child's faces when they leave the building, when they come back in. So we have a little bit of time left over. One of the things that we'd like to do is reach out to the community and ask you all, what does getting next grade ready mean to you? What would you like to see more of in our schools, or what can we provide that you would like to see so that we can help get your family and your children next grade ready? So we'll take any of those thoughts or comments from the community that we've got here, and any online. I don't know how that would work, but
I am monitoring the chat.
Awesome.
No questions on the chat so far.
Okay.
I did appreciate the discussion about community schools, and we've been involved. Joppatowne Christian Church has been involved with community schools, I guess, since Naisha had her first meeting at the high school. what are other ways that the community can get involved in your schools right now? Because I know that that's been something that's been difficult over the course of time. Me, a willing volunteer, has kind of had to try, make a lot of effort to get into the school. What are good ways for people, if they would like to volunteer, safe ways for people to do that?
I know my community school specialist has launched a volunteer program at Riverside, and one of the ways that we're seeking to expand it is to provide fingerprinting services, because our volunteers can't work directly with children unless they've been fingerprinted. So right now we're using, our volunteers are helping prep work, are checking parents in, being there for events, monitoring, with that kind of thing. But they can't read with kids or do flashcard type little sidebar stuff with kids unless they're fingerprinted. So I know that that's a big effort of ours that we're looking to do next year, is to figure out how can we do that, pay for it, and facilitate that.
So follow up to that. So you say fingerprinted. So I've been fingerprinted by the FBI in my career, right? So that's on file. But when I went to apply to be a student or substitute teacher, that didn't count. I had to go do something separate and pay a different fee, which I did, and then COVID happened, and I never did substitute teaching. But, so that's my question. So you say fingerprinted. I'm guessing that would mean for parents, not if you're working APG and you have fingerprints. You have to go through Harford County. You have to go, and usually you pay a fee, right?
Yes.
Not free.
You want to be able to
You want to be able to
That's
do
correct.
that.
Yeah.
You want to be able to pay
Right.
it.
That is something we should be able to help our families with the community schools and Title I funds
Yes.
to help make that happen. So that's one of our goals. Yeah, excellent
Yeah.
point. Because they do have to be updated and fresh, and we have to be able to validate it.
Hello, my children went to Joppatowne Elementary, Magnolia Middle, and Joppatowne High School. Of course, they are 35 and 38, so it's been a little bit of time. When it comes to absenteeism on the middle school, as far as I know, everyone is bused. Are they still all bused?
Yes, except the new neighborhood right
across the street.
Right directly
Okay.
across. But yes, for the
So
majority-
basically, there is no excuse for being out. Your parent doesn't have to drive you anywhere. It's like probably 5 houses away from your house, the bus comes.
Yes.
There's absolutely no excuse for absenteeism in the middle school whatsoever. The bus comes and picks you up.
Yes.
Which
that
is great, because I can tell you that I have driven to the high school with a bathrobe on with a coat over it to bring my kids to school. Also, I heard a story, it was down in the city, I believe. It was a mother of a 4th grader who realized her son couldn't read. And I'm like, oh, where have you been for 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade? You finally figured out in 4th grade that your son could not read. Did you not think did you ever read to him? You know what I'm trying to say? I mean, you can't expect the school to do everything. The parent has to prep the child. They've had the kid home for 5 years. They shouldn't be going to school not knowing their colors, knowing their letters, knowing all that. I mean, if you need someone to get someone to school, pay me. I will knock on their door and tell
knock
them.
on the door. Trust me, I knock on people's
Well, remember
doors.
the old truant, the truant officers used to grab you off the street when you were in high school. Get out there and get back in school. My daughter now has 2 degrees because I let her get a degree in fine arts for photography. I mean, what was I thinking? Come on now. So she has a degree in that, and then she now does echoes of the heart.
Wow.
She does echocardiograms. How do you say it? Yes. As a matter of fact, she told me one of the student assistants just graduated from Joppatowne High School in 2017.
Wonderful.
My son is, I guess I would describe him as an analyst for the federal government. He works in D.C. So they've done very well for themselves.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
We have so many success stories in this area, much more than anything else, so that's awesome.
And so many who come back to teach. I'm going to get the number wrong, and I'm not going to sit and count in my head.
Yes.
But we have at least 6 teachers at Joppatowne High School who graduated from Joppatowne High School and came back. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
When we did a joint, one of the things that we did recently was a joint professional learning session in March. Our high school staff got together with our Magnolia Middle School staff, and one of the Joppatowne High School teachers said, can we have everyone who has worked and lived in this community stand up. So people who have not only lived in the community, but also went through all of our schools that came back and gave to the community. And I think we were surprised, even though we knew it, seeing it all happen at once, them all rise together, it's incredible. So we do have so many, and so many people that come in to substitute live in this community or have went through our schools. And I worked at Edgewood Middle School for 14 years, and our former students have come, to serve at Edgewood or in our Joppatowne community. So it's been one great. Thank you for sharing.
As
So-
far as what the community can do, though, I'm really pondering that question because, we're talking about the success stories. Congratulations to you who raised 2 successful children, 2 or 3 successful children. But, I always tell what you put into them is what you get out. So what concerns me in my population, my community, is sometimes they don't have the support outside of us, the teachers, the staff, my staff. And what I think that would help in our communities is to have more outreach and more programs for them. So when the school day ends, they're not just being raised by the streets. That's what concerns me. A lot of parents are just hardworking, 2 or 3 jobs, and they have a legitimate excuse why they can't always be there for their children. And then sometimes there's not good excuses for why that happens. But whatever it is, we still need to keep our kids because they're our kids, and we're all in this together. Whether it's Joppa, Edgewood, Magnolia, we're in this society together, and we want to raise children who have options and make good choices later on, so they will make good choices as adults. So I'm very concerned. That's one of the things that I worked to. That's why I did the mentoring program. That was really, really, really important to me. And it took almost 5 years to find that, make that happen. But more programs like that outside of the community, external, extended day programs, that's what our communities need.
And to piggyback off that, it's late. We can't do it all ourselves because we're going through 10-hour days or more. Our teachers are there early. They're planning late. We were talking outside the box thinking a while ago, and I think we're really showing that we are all better together when we do this work together. We've begun working together here more. Pastor Adam brought up these ideas, and it's like I didn't even know these programs existed in the high school. And what can I do if I know this stuff? I can use it as leverage with my families and to encourage more participation or to encourage change. But we really need almost 2 staffs. We need the daytime shift that's doing all this curricular work, and then we need the support afterwards for experiences for kids whose parents are working late, or they work at night, or they're raised by a grandma, and there's like 6 of them in there. So they need help out there. So being able to foster and grow that in a community would certainly strengthen literacy vastly at the earlier grades, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's really important because when we think about experiences, you might be asking yourself, where is the value in that? Experiences can be really simple. It can be going out, taking a child out back, playing a game with them. You're talking with that child. You're building vocabulary. You could be taking them somewhere. That's
Put the phone down.
Yeah, I know, that's yes. Taking them somewhere, that's going to build their background knowledge, which again increases those literacy skills later on. And I'm glad Ms. Ross mentioned about the phone. I'm a parent as well, and it is really tough having children and being a working parent. I come home and I'm tired and it's dinner time and there's homework and this one didn't understand this and this one's got to get somewhere. And it can be really easy for me as a mom to pick up my phone and just have my, some downtime scrolling, which is fine, but you need to be able to find that balance and put it down and really take those moments and have those conversations with your child. Ask him or her, how was your day today? What went well today? What were you proud of today? Because there's a lot of things, and I think we need to, not only spend time with our children, but really celebrate their successes at the daily level. That's so important to build that motivation. Christian?
Okay, so I have a couple notes I made, so they'll play off some of your comments. But before I do that, I want to say something to you guys, because I don't have children that went through this school system. My children are deaf. They went to special schools. and in California and Maryland as well. But regardless of that, I interact with this community in many different areas. Adam will tell you I volunteer all over the place. I go to the local grocery stores. I don't know if you live in this community. I hand out Halloween candy. The kids in this neighborhood, the parents and the teachers that have raised these kids deserve a round of applause. Because on average, not even on average, the vast majority are very respectful, polite children, very well raised, educated, and just good, genuine people.
We
They
agree,
are.
absolutely.
And that is you and the parents doing what you're saying
Yep.
together.
Yep.
And I see it every day that I go out and I see a young person working the cash register at Redner's and I have a chat. They're good quality people. You guys are doing a great job. You should be proud of that. Because it's coming through and it leads to the things that we see in the community. Second thing I'll say is you talk about attendance and when it gets to high school, but also don't forget to inform those kids. I managed 250 people in my career. And I could tell you the kids have probably had trouble with attendance at school. Because it carries through their work career, it carries through their life, it carries through how they live with their family, it carries through everything they do. Are you on time or are you not on time? And there's a different mentality of people who are on time. They're rewarded differently in this society. They get promotions differently in this society. And it is a it's an easy thing to do. It's easy thing to do. You just got to dedicate yourself to doing it.
And it's that willpower, you know, because it takes willpower to get up on a cold morning in the dark when you're tired and to go in there and do something hard. You know, it just does. And that's part of our job as a society is to help strengthen that muscle in our citizens. Absolutely.
So you talk about the need to keep kids active in the summer as well as after school. So one of the things that I hear coming up in meetings that you guys aren't in community meetings, is the integration between recs and parks, which is sports, and their availability and getting fields and getting approvals and getting gyms and getting permits and things like this, and working with you guys. So there might be an opportunity. I don't know that there's an issue because my kids aren't in that and aren't involved, but certainly as I grew up, one of the things that you learn, you get educated, you learn a lot of social, but you also learn a lot of social skills in team sports, right? And you get those mentors and you get those people that you look up to that help you build some of those skills. So I do think there's an opportunity in our community to strengthen the alliance between after-school sports programs, chess programs, computers, whatever it is that an after-school person wants to offer, and how we integrate that with the schools. Again, I can tell you, we used to rent the gym out at Delaney Valley High School on Thursday nights, and the guys that we worked with went and played basketball in that gym. We didn't do it for free. We paid the janitor's fees and all of that. But what I hear in this community is those things aren't available. You can't get into schools. And I'm like, I own the school. Taxpayers paid for the school. So there's something in there that would bring the community in more, would also strengthen the things that children need, I think, more. That might be an opportunity. Every CAB meeting, the volunteer fire department talks about the cadet program, and they always need more people for the cadet program. EMTs and they come out and they're job ready, and it talks like this is really a wonderful opportunity. So that's another one of those great things that I think happens in our community.
Yeah, they've been a great supporter at our community events as well,
This is a comment for Dr. Bolson. I think we should start teaching foreign language in elementary school, not junior high school. I took foreign language in 8th grade and 9th grade. I know a little Spanish. I know how to get to the beach, get a beer, and get to the bathroom. That's about it. All the important things. But most places, countries that are really teaching people to be conversant in a foreign language are starting in elementary school, right? And it's all the way through, right? And it's not an elective. You take a class. That's for you, Dr. Bolson, if you're listening anyway. And then, so the last thing, if we have time, I don't know how late, I know you guys had a long day. What I'd love to hear is, tell me one thing you think your school does exceptionally well, and tell me one thing you think you don't do well, and that you're focused on improving.
It's a really good question.
3, but I said for time, we'll just go with 1.
I really feel like we've really energized my particular community around Riverside. There's a lot of excitement about what's being done at the school. We have kids involved in, filming it and videotaping it. We've got a show on every Friday so that our community can see it. And I have fallen flat on my face 2 years in a row on trying to fix my attendance. And we really legitimately have an outstanding team that's aggressive and outreach oriented, and we just have not cracked open the toughest nuts right now that we've got to reach. I had 6 pages of kids that are chronically absent today. So we're attacking that again next year. We're getting some new staff, so hopefully that'll help as well. New PPW, which will be nice. So I'm excited to see that turn the corner, but that would be what I would say.
I would say at Joppatowne, one of the things I'm most proud of is the culture of care that we're building for children, and that starts with retention of highly qualified staff. And we have been able to, in this past year, really increase our staff retention rates. So not only are we hiring great people who really care about children, but we're hanging on to them as well. And the longer we can hang on to them, the better learning environment we can create for children. Attendance is my big one too, and I think Mr. Hamilton made a great point that attendance is linked to student achievement. Literacy is a big focus for us, early childhood literacy at Joppatowne, and when I look at my 86 children who have missed 20 days or more of school this year, they are some of the same children who are struggling with literacy. So it goes hand in hand, and it is a challenging problem to fix because we try to offer a lot of supports, but at the end, we're not there in the home that morning. So it's, how do we close that gap and get the kids in?
I would say at Joppatowne High School as well, one of the things that I'm really, really proud of is the dedication of our staff. Many of them coach multiple sports. Many of them are constantly looking for improvements to curriculum, more opportunities to offer for students. And I've just been so impressed with the dedication and that they are dedicated to the community. Right now we have only 4 staff members who won't be coming back, 3 to retirement. And because they're retiring and have been there for many years. So they've dedicated all those years to the community. I'm going to agree with attendance as well. We struggle with attendance. We want school to be a place where kids really have ownership and feel comfortable, and you can't build that if you're not there on a regular basis. It can't be a place that you visit. It has to be a place where you live and you feel comfortable and accepted. And so kind of in the middle of those as well, though, I'm going to bring up student voice. I was so impressed with, I mentioned earlier, the culture celebration, totally student planned and student led. Our wellness day, student planned and student led. I've been so impressed and proud of the way our students have stepped up to plan things that they want to see for their own building. And I'm really looking forward to increasing that in the future.
I could share, and both Jessica and Melissa kind of took my answer a little bit. I am proud of the energy of our staff, the commitment of our staff, the fun culture. There is literally a feeling of love and positivity in the air when you walk in through our big purple doors, and I always say that has nothing to do with me. That has everything to do with the people that work there and our students. And the other part I want to celebrate is the trust and the relationships that I have with all of you, our families. I could pick up the phone and call any one of our 750 households, and I know that I'm going to be greeted in a positive way and really thanked and appreciated. And I want our families to know that the feeling's mutual. I adore this communities. I adore the community, and I adore our families and our students. And so I'm really proud of the relationship that we have built, and the connection and the comfort that I know that I feel walking in this community and shopping in this community and serving in this community. And again, attendance, of course, is one of the things. We are a school of transformation, so the only expectation is that we continue to grow and continue to change. So there's tons of things. We will never have arrived. we're going to continue to work hard to make sure that all of our data and everything is moving in the right direction. I guess one of the things that I would say differently right now, we have made much strides in the percentage of students who are reading on grade level different than prior to 2019. But I still want 100% of our students to read on grade level. And we cannot rest until that happens, because literacy is the gateway to everything else in our world. And so, really continuing to focus on literacy and making sure that students have every opportunity that's out there by building those kind of skills.
So I could say ditto to the things that I'm proud of, because I'm a little short too, Mark.
Sorry, I was a little tall for you.
I'm a little short. Because I am very proud of my staff, all of our staffs. They just work sun up to sundown and truly care about the students at the school. I'm very proud at Magnolia that we start at birth with welcoming our families in. I have a Judy Center, which is unique to Harford County. We're just one of 3, and the Judy Center at Magnolia has been there for 10 years. The other 2 in the county are just now coming on. Judy Center starts in our communities. I tease my Judy Center coordinator, she's a stroller chaser, because when we go out to the communities, if we see a little one, we chase after them and say, "Hi, have you heard about the Judy Center?" They offer play groups, and they bring in the students that will eventually be Magnolia Mustangs at a very young age. We just had a big, huge baby shower for all the expectant mommies in our community. And so we start play groups and do field trips and all of those things. And the Judy Center works with those families all the way through kindergarten. And then I have a community school that can continue on as they get older. So I'm so proud of that, because we really truly have such a support staff that can support our families for any need that they may have. Challenges that we are still facing, as I said, I came in with a 50% chronically absent rate, and I'm proud of where we've gone, but we're nowhere near where we need to be. So we're going to keep working at that, and that directly correlates to our academic achievement. And we have a lot of work to do in that area. And I don't think any of us on this panel are surprised that we have children that are struggling. When COVID hit and you have 5-year-olds that you're trying to teach how to read on a computer, and then you're trying to teach them how to make letter sounds in a mask, that's very challenging, and we knew that we were going to have to recover from this, and it was going to be hard, and that's where we are now. We're trying to recover, and we're trying to make those gaps up that we had during that time, and we're going to get there. It's just going to take us some time.
So one of the things I'm most proud about at our school, we have worked very hard to decrease office referrals and suspensions. When I first came on board, we were struggling. We had like 94 out-of-school suspensions, and if the kids are being suspended and they're not in school, we cannot address them or educate them. So last year we had 9.
Yay!
So that's what I'm celebrating. And we're very proud of the numbers and the decrease of office referrals and suspensions. And something that we're still challenged with and struggling with is to improve academics. We are trying to make sure our students are reaching proficiency. That number has steadily gone up too over the years. COVID set its back a little bit, but we're still on an upward trajectory. And we're hoping to continue to improve in that particular area with our students so they are successful and they're ready for the world.
I want to thank everybody for tonight.
Yes, wonderful.
Especially everybody who tuned in, our guests who came here tonight. Thank you very much. We want to make this the first one. We're hopeful that we'll be able to do one out of the gate early next year to kind of like get the wheels rolling and kind of start showing that we are all better together. If anything, I'd ask you to advocate for your schools. Now's definitely not the time to take the foot off the gas. It's not the time to throw. I mean, we have a lot of developments going in all over this region, and all of our buildings are older except for one. Yours is relatively newer, but that's
a remodel. Yes.
That's pretty much it. And we're going to be looking for places to put all of these people.
Yes.
And so, we really need our community to step forward and advocate. especially if you want resources down here in Joppatowne. And I'm looking forward to doing more in concert with all of you.
Absolutely.
This is great, learning about what's happening in this region, and then being able to work in concert with one another is only going to make us stronger. So I want to thank everybody, and
Can I just,
Yeah.
real quick, oh, Ralph, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Reviewing his notes.
Okay. I want to say, just from me, thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. I know we just, gosh, I guess it's been almost a month now, but we had Teacher Appreciation Month in May, and I got to come to some of your schools for Teacher Appreciation Month, and notably not one of yours. But very few times do I see Principal Appreciation Day and week, and I know the tough job that you all have, so thank you for what you do for our community and for our teachers and our staff, and especially for our scholars as we try to raise up the next generation of leaders in Joppatowne. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. No.
Here's the kind of, I don't know if you do this already.
Yeah, I guess.
But when my kids were in school, they were